The global order is shifting, and the world as we know it is undergoing a profound transformation. The balance of power, once firmly rooted in the hands of a few Western nations, is now being challenged by a coalition of emerging economies determined to reshape the international landscape. At the very heart of this seismic change is the rapid and ambitious expansion of the BRICS bloc, a group that has evolved from a loose association into a formidable force on the world stage. Originally, BRICS was simply an acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, and China, four major economies with a shared vision for a more balanced world. In 2010, South Africa joined, expanding the group's influence to the African continent. Fast forward to 2024, and the bloc welcomed Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the UAE, marking a significant leap in both geographic and political reach. The momentum didn't stop there. In 2025, Indonesia became the 10th full member, further extending BRICS's presence across Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. This expansion is not just about numbers, it's about connecting diverse regions and cultures under a shared vision for the future. This surge in membership reflects a growing dissatisfaction with the Western-led global system, where many nations feel their voices are marginalized or ignored. The expansion of BRICS is a direct response to these frustrations, offering an alternative platform for cooperation and influence. There is a clear desire among these countries for a more representative and equitable world order, one that recognizes the aspirations and interests of the Global South and emerging economies. At the pivotal 2024 Kazan Summit, BRICS took a bold step by creating a new partner category, opening the door to deeper engagement and collaboration for 10 additional nations. This move signals a willingness to embrace diversity and foster broader alliances. Over 40 countries, including Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Nigeria, have now expressed interest in joining the bloc. This unprecedented level of interest is a clear sign of a major, global realignment as more nations seek to participate in shaping the future. BRICS is no longer just an alternative to the West. It's a bold declaration that the era of Western dominance is giving way to a new, multipolar reality. The world is witnessing the rise of new centers of power and influence. The bloc's expansion is a call for a multipolar world where emerging powers not only demand a seat at the table, but also seek to redefine the rules and institutions that govern global affairs. It's about building new frameworks, new partnerships, and new opportunities for cooperation, laying the foundation for a more inclusive and dynamic international system. This is the architecture of a new world order, taking shape one nation at a time, as BRICS continues to expand its horizon and inspire others to imagine a different future. BRICS's expansion is backed by real economic muscle. The bloc now accounts for over 35% of global GDP by purchasing power parity, surpassing the G7. Nearly half the world's population lives in BRICS countries, making it a massive consumer and labor market. With major energy producers like Iran, Russia, and the UAE, BRICS controls about 30% of global oil output. Its members sit astride key trade routes, from the Suez Canal to the Strait of Malacca, giving them leverage over global commerce. This economic and demographic heft gives BRICS a powerful political voice, making it impossible to ignore. The expanded bloc is now a force capable of demanding real change in the global system. BRICS aims to build an alternative to the Western-dominated financial system. Institutions like the IMF and World Bank, and the dominance of the US dollar, are seen as tools of Western power. The new development bank and the contingent reserve arrangement offer financing and crisis support without Western strings attached. The bloc is pushing for de-dollarization, conducting more trade in national currencies to reduce US leverage. China promotes the renminbi, while Russia and Iran seek alternatives to bypass sanctions. With more members and capital, BRICS is making a multi-currency world order increasingly realistic. Countries are joining BRICS to amplify their voice, diversify their economies, and hedge against Western dominance. For many in the global South, the current system feels rigged. Decisions are made without their input. BRICS offers a platform for collective bargaining on development, climate, and global governance. Access to the new development bank in vast markets like China and India is a major draw. Energy exporters see BRICS as a way to secure long-term demand. The bloc also offers protection against Western sanctions, providing alternative economic pathways. For many, joining BRICS is about empowerment and solidarity, a move toward a more equitable world. The narrative of shared destiny is pulling countries from every continent into the BRICS orbit. Despite its impressive growth and increasing global relevance, BRICS is far from a monolithic alliance. Its members bring to the table a wide array of interests, priorities, and even rivalries that sometimes compete with one another. For example, Russia and Iran leverage BRICS as a diplomatic shield to counteract US sanctions and to push for de-dollarization, aiming to reduce their dependence on the American financial system and assert greater economic sovereignty. China, on the other hand, views the bloc as a strategic platform to expand its global influence, promote the international use of the renminbi, and shape the rules of global trade and finance in its favor. Meanwhile, India's approach is rooted in its desire for strategic autonomy and the creation of a multipolar world order, where no single power dominates and India can assert its own independent voice. India carefully balances its cooperation with China within BRICS, while simultaneously strengthening security and economic ties with Western nations, reflecting its nuanced foreign policy. Other members, such as Brazil, South Africa, and the UAE, adopt a pragmatic approach of multi-alignment, engaging with both the West and the East to maximize their own national interests. These countries seek economic growth, investment, and development opportunities, often without committing to any single geopolitical camp or ideology. This diversity of interests is both a source of strength and a persistent challenge for BRICS, as it brings together nations with different worldviews, ambitions, and sometimes conflicting agendas. As a result, the bloc is often compelled to focus on shared economic goals, such as development, trade, and financial cooperation, rather than seeking deep ideological unity. The BRICS agenda is shaped by ongoing negotiation and compromise, rather than direct confrontation, as members work to find common ground. Ultimately, the future of BRICS will depend on its ability to manage internal differences, build consensus, and advance collective interests in an increasingly complex world. The true power of BRICS lies in its potential to unite a diverse group of nations around common goals, demonstrating that cooperation across differences can shape the future of global governance. Recent geopolitical shifts have turbocharged BRICS's rise. The return of Donald Trump and his America First policies have made U.S. alliances less predictable, pushing countries to seek alternatives. Trade wars and tariffs have disrupted global supply chains, making BRICS's integrated market more attractive. The U.S. retreat from global leadership has left a vacuum, which China and BRICS are eager to fill. Even traditional U.S. partners like the UAE and Saudi Arabia are hedging their bets, accelerating their pivot toward multi-alignment. Diversification is now a geopolitical necessity, not just an economic strategy. The unpredictability of American policy has made collective self-reliance more appealing than ever. BRICS is no longer a slow-moving alternative. It's a fast-growing force reshaping the global order. The expansion of BRICS signals the arrival of a truly multipolar world, where influence is no longer concentrated in the hands of a few. This shift is not just symbolic, it marks a fundamental change in how global decisions are made and who gets a seat at the table. The old, US-dominated order is giving way to a more complex system with multiple centers of power. As new alliances form and established ones adapt, the global landscape is becoming more dynamic and unpredictable, with emerging voices demanding recognition. BRICS Plus is organizing a significant share of humanity and economic output to claim a bigger role in global affairs. With billions of people and rapidly growing economies, these nations are pushing for greater influence in shaping international rules and standards. The future will see competition between Western-led and BRICS-centric systems, with countries navigating both for maximum advantage. Many nations will find themselves balancing interests, forging new partnerships, and sometimes playing both sides to secure their own prosperity and security. This could spur overdue reforms in global institutions and empower smaller nations. As the balance of power shifts, there is a real opportunity for more inclusive decision-making and for the voices of previously marginalized countries to be heard. But risks of fragmentation and confrontation remain, especially as BRICS grows more confident. Tensions could rise if cooperation falters, and the world may face new challenges in maintaining stability and peace. The challenge ahead is to manage this transition peacefully, building bridges between old and new powers. Dialogue, compromise, and mutual respect will be essential to avoid deepening divides and to foster a more harmonious global order. The world's map is being redrawn, and the outcome will shape the next era of global cooperation or rivalry. The choices made today will echo for generations, determining whether the future is defined by collaboration or by competition.